made it beat, by the way.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? We're here with another episode of Recording. Tonight is our episode 25. 25. We are getting through third season, and we only got 5 more episodes left. Tonight's episode is going to be entitled Dancing with the Devil. Now, you know, when people hear that, they don't really know the thing about when they hear that. What do you mean by dancing with the devil? So what I mean with dancing with the devil is, you know, just what dark places has your mind went to. You know, I know, a lot of people that have been a victim to suicide. I know a lot of people have suicidal thoughts. I'm one of them. I've had it before. Not only that, but even just black depression in itself, because, sometimes in the black community, it's so hard to say that something's wrong with me without somebody judging you, or you don't want, or you don't want someone to judge you. So therefore, you just don't say anything. So, we just want to expand on those topics and just, bring awareness to it, because it is Suicide Prevention Month, and, sometimes these conversations need to be had. If we don't have them now, then when we're going to have them. Mm-hmm. So, we'll just jump into it. From our right, we got
Mac.
I'm K1.
Anthony.
And this is another episode of Corner. This is episode 25, Dancing with the Devil.
And quick disclaimer, we apologize in advance if this happens to trigger you in any way. I mean, no, yeah. Because like K1 was saying, this is a pretty serious topic. It might be, sensitive to some ears. But we're all open and understanding to have conversations. I'm sure it's not going to be, as easy for us to discuss, what we've been through in our lives and things like that. So, just kind of keep an open mind. This is no judgment zone over here. Chime in in the comments. Share your stories with us, and we just hope you enjoy the show. Yep. And shout out to Silk. He couldn't be here with us tonight, but shout out to Silk.
Yeah, man, he'll be on the next one, man. We're gonna keep pushing though.
Yeah.
I know one thing I can say for myself, or whatever, when it comes to the topic. Coming up as a kid, I went through it. I'm not ashamed to say that I went through depression and things of that nature. And it was very hard to, sometimes just talk to my father about it or whatever, because I grew up more so a mama's boy. So I pretty much was telling my mom any and everything that was going on with me in my head and whatnot. She was always ready to listen. And, sometimes I felt like whenever I would go to my father, it would be more so, oh, man up, you'll be all right, We didn't have depression when I was growing up and things of that nature. I was like, what you mean you didn't have depression? I'm pretty sure there was something you went through, but, maybe your generation before you was just like, hey, get that right in the bud. Because what I've noticed, here I am, I'm about to be 30 years old, max 30 years old, or whatever. We've, been on this earth for this long, and, we still dealing with depression. And it's not something that just goes away. You can't just wish it away. You can't just, just pray to go away all the time. Sometimes it hits home. So, growing up, it was just always just like, nah, you'll be all right, shake it off, and blah, blah, blah. And sometimes I used to find outlets. I used to find counselors or, whoever it is I could talk to outside of my, family, because sometimes it takes you to talk to people outside of your family to get the answers you're looking for. Right. Because sometimes at the end of the day, if you go to a friend or family member, they know you for what you show them. Right. But when you go to somebody that don't know nothing about you or anything like that, you get a whole new different perspective. And if y'all take away anything from this, if you feel like you're going through something, get help and talk to somebody, because the more you sit there and sit on it, the more it's going to weigh on your mind, weigh on your heart. So that's my opening for that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Got you. To kind of expound on that, I guess with me, how I would handle depression or just things in general that I feel like I can't talk to other people, about my problems. Growing up, even with my parents, I do feel as though there was, they were understanding parents, but I would still be too scared to openly express what I'm going through as a kid because, as a kid, we're growing up, we're growing up to think that, well, yeah, we don't know it all, only adults, have all the knowledge of the world and things like that. But come to find out, most of the times, the adults still need to learn, what's going on with these kids because, as time goes on, things change. There's a whole lot of new stressors that happens, especially in this day and age, with the younger generation that, including ours or the generations before us, didn't have to go through.
Right.
Now, whether we're going through it now as adults, that's because, a lot, like I said, a lot of things have changed. I say we've pretty much been in the midst of a whole bunch of change, a lot of things that we have to adapt to.
Right.
But just even then, with the kids now, you see a lot of kids that are doing things that's a cry for help. Because, just for everything that's being exposed, and it's just a lot of things where you can't just say, oh, don't worry about it, it'll go away, or just pray it off. There's a lot of lingering stressors that can, that sticks with you for years.
Yeah.
I think I can recall a couple of stressors that I'm still working on healing with, but that, that's been with me for years, and now I'm 30 now. I'm still learning how to heal my childhood wounds, my childhood traumas, and things like that. So this is going to be a pretty interesting topic, because we definitely got to, we talk about our stressors, but we also got to think about the generation after us and what they're going through at this present time right now, because information changes pretty quickly and every day.
Damn near daily.
Within a matter of minutes, information changes. So, but that's my overview too.
Well, I guess as far as dark moments, I think the vast majority of people go through things that bring their outlook on life down, and then they wind up feeling, I guess, weighed down by pressure I think is really a good way to put it. Like there's a heavy weight over you in that particular time. And I guess like you said, you knew multiple people and you had them yourself. Hell, shit, I've been there. And I think as far as dancing with the devil goes, I feel like once you get pushed past a certain point, you start to look for, it might not be people, it might be something, it might be whatever it is that makes you feel better and brings you out of, that low point that you're in, which, the healthy thing is to find constructive activities and try to, as much as you can, because, I know at some points there ain't no motivating out of where you at, what I'm saying? But, what I'm saying, at least try, that's the difference. You have to be able to try and do and, get up and be constructive, but then there's also that other direction the door swings where it's for me, I know some years ago, I was going through some shit, got my heart broken and everything, and it was just, fuck it, you know what I'm saying? So, I went and bought a motorcycle, and God, I was literally true to form, hell on them two wheels. It was, you couldn't tell me shit. I didn't give no damns about nothing. You know what I'm saying? You don't get scared going 160 miles an hour. Why would I be scared? You know what I'm saying?
Gosh,
heart already told me. You know what I'm saying? I'm an empty shell out here.
That's tough, because there's a saying where it says an idle mind is the devil's playground.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that,
I don't have it. Yeah.
yeah. So that's real, and no matter where your beliefs are and things like that, but just know, just an idle mind, like you said, just not having anything constructive leaves a whole lot of room for other things to live in your mind rent free.
Yeah.
And it's it's real tough. I can't. Well, I guess maybe later on it'll come back to me. I don't really have one that stands out to me right now. But yeah, just wanted to throw my 2 cents in that real quick.
What you mean you don't have something as far as like something similar to what you was talking about?
Well, that's something that happened to me personally.
Oh.
Yeah. I can't think of it right now.
Buckle
but
up.
I'm sure that, yeah, but it'll come to me while.
Yeah. Just going back to what I said in the beginning, I don't fault my dad for not
being as sensitive.
Yeah, not know how to handle the
Right,
situation.
Yeah.
Like I don't, cause like my dad's, technically like one of my biggest fans too. So he watches my show and everything. So he know what I'm talking about. But at the end of the day, I don't fault him or if you're watching that, I don't fault you for that or whatever, because you didn't know how to deal with it. So therefore you only knew what you knew. And for me, my depression really hit home for me when my mother passed away. And when it happened or whatever, a lot of people haven't went through what I've been through as far as losing a mother. So when I went through that, couldn't nobody really tell me anything because they didn't experience it. They don't know what my experience is.
Right.
So I was cussing to the ground, cursing God, and I was just like, why wasn't it me, type deal, because, my mother was a multi-talented person. I felt like my mother had more to offer the world than I did at the time, because I was 15 at the time. What do I got to offer the world right now? And that really, and even before then, I was depressed, but I was literally like she was my tether to a sense of normalcy in my reality. Yeah. So once that tether broke, I was like, I'm done. I didn't know where to turn. I was done. And it ain't like I can go to my father because he just lost a whole wife. So I can't have this conversation.
What would that show look like?
Yeah, because my mother died right before Christmas. So we normally have Christmas breakfast. So we literally went the next day like everything was normal, and that shit was messing with me. It was like, my mom just died. I was just like, what are we doing? Why is this a thing right now? So it just, no one really could help me. So therefore, I did what I could within myself to help myself. I was the type of kid, I was out here, fucking up walls and shit, putting holes in them and whatnot, because I was just angry and upset. Yeah, just frustrated. I didn't know what to do with my emotions. I tried to find outlets and things of that nature, whatever, but, to be that young, to be 15, you're old enough to for somebody that's still in you, but you're also young enough to not, know what the hell going on. I'm 15, 3 years before I turn 18. I'm not even a full adult yet.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to get through my teen years. Right. So hell, the next day, well, not the next day, but after Christmas break was over, because we were in Christmas break, I went to school, I got people hugging me and shit, and I'm just like, the fuck? What the fuck is y'all doing? Why is y'all hugging me and shit? Apparently the whole school knew what the fuck was going on. And it's like I was at the butt end of a joke. I'm just like, what the fuck? I didn't even get time to, tell anybody. Everybody already knew. I had people I didn't even talk to hug me and shit, and like, oh, I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, get the fuck off me. But at the same time, I'm just like, I know you want to be there for me, but it's just like, I came to school to escape that shit, and I'm coming here to deal with this shit. Right. So for me, that put me in the tailspin, and, some people know about it, a lot of people don't, but it put me in the tailspin. That's just the tip of the iceberg for me.
Yeah, I think in that situation, like I said, you would go to school to escape that reality, but I don't know. I guess in a way it would make me feel like there's still a chance I can overcome this. I mean, because at the end of the day, you still got people that's going out of the way of giving their condolences and things like that.
But you're not taking rational.
Of course, right? Of course not. Of course not, man. Because I remember when you told me, it happened. I was in the neighborhood, because we had lived in the same neighborhood. And man, I gotta tell you, I ain't want to leave my house because I ain't know what to. I was like, what am I gonna say? Right. My best friend's mom passed away, what am I gonna say?
Right.
You know, but at the time I was like, it don't even matter. Just go there.
Right.
You know, I was like, hey, you just gotta go. You just gotta go see him.
Right.
Make sure you're straight. Don't matter what you gotta say. Don't say nothing.
Yeah, right.
You know,
Show up.
just show up. Just show up. So I was like, okay, all right. I got on my bike, my pedal bike.
Yeah.
Got on my pedal bike, went to his crib. I was like, hey, I'm here, dog.
Right.
You know, hey.
Right.
I don't know what to do, but hey,
I'm here.
I'm here, bro.
Right. That's
Yep. So,
counts.
hey, yeah, you know, so I think I know what I want to talk about now as far as my experience with something. I want to point out that, you know, PTSD comes in many forms. It doesn't necessarily relate to military members all the time, right? Now, in this case, I don't think PTSD really applies with me just because I'm in the military. For y'all that don't know, Vincent, Anthony, and Silk, them about the only closest thing to brothers that I got. Other than that, I'm an only child, right? So I didn't have any siblings growing up, which meant that, I was taught, I guess I'll be considered a late bloomer on a lot of things, because, it was just some things where I just had to learn on my own. But as growing up, I really have a lot of people to talk to about things I wanted to talk about. Come to age 10, I got a dog. Yep. Rest in peace, Otto, man. So that was, at that time, that was about closer to a brother that I had. He lived 13 years. All in a while, whenever I felt like I couldn't voice what I wanted to say, to either y'all or my parents, I had my dog. Because, from my standpoint, he wouldn't judge me, he wouldn't condemn me, or, he wouldn't turn his back on me or whatever, or, he didn't have nothing to say. He was very attentive. I could say anything. I could say anything to him.
You really fucked
and
up.
You really,
if you turned around.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Oh shit.
Exactly. Exactly. It meant no matter what I was going through, how I felt, he was right there. And at that time, I was like, man, he really gets me. He doesn't speak. He doesn't verbally.
He understands,
but he understands. Yeah. I don't even know if he gets it. He just knows.
No, I get it.
Pop,
I've been there for sure.
Yeah. So I guess where my depression really kicks in and kind of how I tie in PTSD. Because like I said, it can come in many forms. It doesn't necessarily mean that you've seen some shit out in war or whatever, and then it fucks up the way you sleep. My sleep was pretty fucked up, anyways. But
Yeah.
it got pretty wild when in 2014 I was actually getting ready to go to Afghanistan. But at the time, my dog was having congestive heart failure. And things like that, he would have seizures. He was just getting old.
Right.
One day, and then 3 days before actually flying out from Texas to overseas, my dad had called me, let me know that, hey, we had to put him down. I had to put him down because he was having back-to-back seizures and things like that. So we had to put him down. Put him out of his misery. Now, of course, before I even left Georgia, my dad had asked me, hey, listen, if things were to get worse, do you give me permission to, get him put down if it had to happen?
Right.
Now, of course, I'm like, sure, yeah, I will, but it ain't gonna happen. Because I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna come back, he's gonna be straight. So, yeah.
Damn.
Well, yeah.
You got sad,
Make you feel like, damn.
Yeah.
I gave you permission permission to kill my dog.
Well, I mean,
No,
he
just
didn't
like
kill him,
he
but
ain't
still.
there when you come back.
No.
Like, you
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
and that's
Because
true.
in his mind, he think like, oh yeah, you gonna be straight by the time I come back. He be running up, licking my face and shit.
Exactly. You know, and I mean, that was the reality.
Yikes.
Sure enough, came back home. He wasn't there. You would be the first person at the door, ready to greet somebody. You know, and I'm thinking, yeah, I ain't seen the man in 6-7 months. I'm like, yeah, he's gonna remember me and everything.
Right.
I come back home, you know, my grandmother's there, you know, mom and dad, you was there, you know, welcome me back and things like that. We get back to the house, I don't hear Paul's running on the floor, you know, scraping the wood floor, nothing, you know, running to the door. I don't hear anything. And I want to say that reality hit me like a Mack truck. that thing hit me. I was like, man, my best friend is not here.
Right.
You know, essentially my brother. 'Cause like I said,
Yeah.
I'm an only child.
Yeah.
He was with me, you know, for 13 years.
Right.
You know, that was the only person that I honestly felt that I could talk to about anything. And then, like you said, my tether, essentially my tether. Yeah, exactly. You know, now that he's gone, I honestly felt lost, and that affected my sleep. That affected, you know, just losing somebody, especially before you have to go to war. Essentially, that's pretty tough.
Right.
Did you ever have like ghost feelings? And I say that like thinking he's there or something like that.
I-
He's not there.
Still do.
Mm.
I still do actually.
Damn.
It's very sporadic now, but like the first 2 years, he was very present. I was seeing him in my dreams a lot. You know, and it was suck because towards the end of the dream, he would run away. Actually, yeah, yep, yep. He would run away. You know, I would like, come here, boy. You know, whistle at him and everything. Like, you know. Then I wake up. I'm like, yeah, he's still gone. Yeah, like, yeah, he's not here. So, you know, I had troubles communicating that with my parents. Well, I mean, they knew. Like later on in life, we had a powwow, and I was telling them about something where I honestly feel as though I'm still stuck. You know, because I had somebody that was in my corner, you know, essentially in my corner, rooting for me to, you know, with him, I felt like I could do anything, you know what I'm saying? And now he was gone, you know, I just felt stuck. I felt like him being gone has helped me back on a lot of things in life, you know. That's at the time, that's how I felt. I mean, and parts of me still kind of feel that way too, but I've since then learned how to be okay with the fact that, hey, he was old, he was having heart problems. It was his time. You know, don't be mad at your dad, because for one, you gave him consent to do it.
Right.
You know, if it came worse,
Right.
he kept having multiple seizures. I fully understood. You know, it would have been selfish of me to keep him living, but still having seizures, still passing out on the floor.
Yeah.
You know, so
That's just love.
yeah, that's just love. You know, it's funny because my dad would always wonder, you know, if I'm mad at him for doing it. And I was like, at the time, sure, you know, but I mean, I was.
Right. You weren't my favorite person, you know.
Yeah, he wasn't. You know, I wasn't his biggest fan at the time, you
Right.
know. But nah, you know, my dad, you know, because then I gotta look at it from his perspective. He has to go to the place to do it.
Right. I mean, he definitely had a
He
heart.
had, yeah.
Yeah.
And mind y'all, you know, me getting the dog in the first place,
Mhm.
Otto was the first person my dad seen, you know, and then for it to go back full circle, he's the last person to see him, you know, when he was getting put down. So I'm sure my dad was not having a good day.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
He was-
That was tough.
Yeah, he was not having a good day. He was more tore up than I was when he called me to let me know what was going on. So you know, but I guess with that depression, and the tie-in with the title, you know, me losing somebody like that, you know, because I definitely didn't consider him a animal or anything like that. You know, he's with us, definitely family, 13 plus years. You know, that's my brother.
Mm-hmm.
Me losing somebody like that, it definitely took me in a dark, in a dark place where I was like, you know, where I've honestly had thoughts of, you know, this world's gonna be okay with that. It was okay before me. It'll be fine without me.
Yeah.
You know, I was definitely at that point, but you know, at the time, you know, I didn't want to just tell that to my mom and dad.
Right.
You know, because you know, if I was thinking that, I would have told that to my dog. But now he's
not
not there. He's
Yeah.
not there. So I definitely had a lot of coping mechanisms. I was definitely not a drinker at the time. At the time, started, you know, getting real acquainted with the bottle a little bit. Pulling up. Yep. Pull up.
Them Jaegers and shit.
Yep, Jaeger's, double cup, all that. Could be purple, could be pink. Who knows? Woo. But yeah, you know, so you know, I've definitely had a lot of unhealthy coping mechanisms to get over that hump of losing somebody, you know, that was near and dear to me. But yeah, and like you was mentioned, you know, just I didn't have any hobbies either. I didn't really have any real hobbies to keep me occupied. I mean, I did have hobbies, but
you just didn't care to.
Yeah, I did not find.
Yeah, you didn't have the motivation.
Yeah,
It
was no hope, no motivation to carry out those things because you know now I'm just like, I mean,
what's the point?
What's the point?
Like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
you know.
I've been there.
Yeah, you know, what's the point? You know, with drawing and you know exercising and things like that. I was like, man, it's no point, you know, because at that point I'm like, I mean, shit, yeah. No matter how healthy I get, we all gotta die soon and things like that.
Well,
and
shit.
you know, that's what I was. Yeah, man. It was serious. My bad, y'all. But yeah, you know, that was serious. But you know, and of course at the time, you know, it's not like I had a counselor or a therapist to communicate all these things with.
Right.
You know, I would just draw that out of my hobbies. But of course, when you don't feel motivated to do it, you turn to vices.
Right.
You know, that's
vices is pretty much really I guess the segue to Dancing with the Devil. That's how you do it, or something. Like you get hurt, you get to a low point, and you start seeking out anything that pulls you out of that spot. And for a lot of people, that's a lot of bad things, like drugs, gambling, sex, people, just in general. Like there's a lot of there's a lot of the devil out there today. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like there's actually like we've as a society tried to make it or normalize it or you know make it okay or accepted for things to go on. But to me, like the way things used to be, at least when we were coming up, I understand maybe they're outdated, maybe I'm an old head or whatever, you know, like but like the things that are going on and people are shouting to normalize and, you know, be accepted for is like the shit that like that you only did that stuff if there was more or less something going on with you, you know what I'm saying? Like you're acting out, you're calling for some sort of attention to like, you know, you're expressing yourself how you feel, you know, to get noticed or whatever, to be heard. And I think it sucks because like a lot of the times when you're dancing with the devil, when you're chasing your vice, you're over there, you know, doing drugs or being promiscuous at a very alarming rate. Like you know what I'm saying? Like
gotcha.
You know, like people tend to find other people in the similar states of mind and
hurt you like
and it's for lack of a better word, demons just kind of start jumping back and forth, bouncing off of these people that, you know what I'm saying, everybody's sharing these activities and these spirits or whatever, like, and what sucks is that, like I was saying, like as a society, we're starting to normalize these things, and we're starting to, you need to accept that people are going to do this and blah, 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 and it's just like, all right, but like, why have we stopped asking why those people are doing these things? Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why are we, like, I don't understand that. Yeah. Because, like, I understand when you feel, like I said, I've been there, and hell, most y'all know about relationship shit, but, like, not too many people know about the life shit that done fuck me up, too. So it's just like, I've been driven to, thankfully, you know, I have a strong will and a relatively sturdy, like, moral code that, you know, I'm not trying to, you know, outwardly go disrespect somebody or, you know, for no reason, you know, do wrong by anyone.
Yes.
But there definitely were vices along the way. Like, you know, of course, like a lot of people try to say weed is the gateway drug and all that stuff. No, like that differs between individuals. There's people out there that full on say, oh, I'm addicted, blah, 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 I can't go without weed, blah, blah, blah. That's that person. You know what I'm saying? Something going on with that person is why they are that way with whatever it is. You know, it just happens to be weed. And then shows a bad picture for weed. But like, for me, like a lot of the times people lean on weed for like depression and stuff like that because, you know, it's a mood, depending on how your body processes it, it's a mood lifter. It's a, you know, it takes you away from, it takes the edge off of, you know, the pressure you're feeling and everything. But there's the people who are out there that are finding worse things than that. And like to the point to where stuff is starting to get legalized now, even like, you know, with Oregon making a whole. If you wanted to, was it cocaine? Yeah, everything. No, it's everything, like heroin, all that stuff. Like it's completely legalized, and it's just like, yo, that y'all know. So
don't
just,
go to Oregon.
Just fuck the war on drugs, then, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong, weed we can kind of save, and then I'm not going to make too much arguments on cocaine or whatever, but you know. Y'all got that. It's legal in Mexico now, you know what I'm saying? Like, but when you talk about stuff that is literally just
still legal,
stuff that's like literally still destroying people's lives, like heroin, crack, and all this shit, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the fact that that's, oh, you know, don't worry about it. That's just how they live their life. No, they're killing themselves. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we need to be worrying about some shit like that. Like,
because, you know, it's like, what was the purpose of the war on drugs? And you just allow people to be out here just...
Facts.
Yeah, I'm just
decades and decades of campaigns and slander and propaganda and just all types of bullshit. And it's like, all right, no, that's cool, whatever.
I think that's just solely because it's not a problem until they're affected directly or indirectly.
Right.
So
that's happened a lot,
Yeah.
We got a president that's connected to a son with some hard stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Trump aired that shit out.
Hey, that was crazy.
He aired that shit out.
Well, he let the whole
just so you know.
But you know, like when it comes to, you know, back what Anthony was talking about as far as, you know, weed being a gateway or whatever, it ain't necessarily a gateway. It's, for me, this is just my opinion, but I think it's based on your depression. If you're doing this type of drug and it's not giving you that escape you're looking for, then you're gonna go to something stronger. If that's not strong enough, you're gonna go to something stronger. You got people that's running around because they got demons chasing them, and they can't get away. So their vice is to find something strong. Their vice is to not feel. Their vice is to not know what that is anymore. You know what I mean? That's the only reason, or, you know, comparison why it would be a gateway. You know, you got some people that's going through depression. We keep them okay. They keep them leveled out. But, you know, like I said, you know, it just depends on how deep your depression is. So that's just something I want to touch on.
That means there's something going on with that person that, like, when it comes to them being sober and lucid and fully aware of reality, they're so tripped out, they're so freaked out that they got to get high. There's something going on there. I'm not saying, like, it automatically had to be some traumatic experience or something like that. It could have been anything. It could be just something happening that needs to be figured out.
But it's still got to be, because once that high is gone, I mean, it's still there. The problem is still going to be there.
Oh yeah, you come back, it's still there.
It's still going to be waiting for you with open arms and everything.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm not saying don't smoke it, but, you know, don't think that that this is just gonna pause everything. You know, it may pause it for
Reality's
momentarily.
gonna come back.
Reality,
it always comes back.
it always comes back, man. Yep.
Because, you know, like they said, you know, like my vice, you know, or at least a couple years ago, my vice was heavy as far as drinking. Like, at one time I was working as a lead, but, you know, the type of lead I was, you know, I was more so one of those leads where, hey, the manager's out, you're taking over full responsibilities. When he's there, you're still taking on full responsibilities. And it got tough, and I was working night shift or whatever. I'm talking about, man, I'd come home all tired, working 17, 18-hour days or whatever. And, you know, I never really said it to anybody, but I was depressed. I was just like, this is not, you know, me making all this money is not making me happy.
Right.
Like, you know, I'm working myself to the bone. I'm coming home, I'm tired as hell. And hell, Palm Sun was my buddy, boy. Like, every time I came home, alrighty, let's get that cold real quick.
Yeah,
you
that
know.
would be Paul like, man, what's wrong?
Man,
Yeah,
man.
Tell me about your
Anyone
day,
I would
man.
talk to, man, just, you
You
know.
got some troubles.
Like, oh, word. Oh, word, man. Get you another glass, man. It's all good.
But that was my vice, you know. My whole thing was I'd rather do that than come home angry and upset, and you know, possibly get into it with my wife, or you know, say something to my son or whatever. Because by the time my son was about to be here, I was like, I can't keep doing this and coming home.
Yeah.
Like I can't, you know, put my child through this because he might just want to play with me. I'm like, yo, get the fuck on.
Yeah.
Just because you know I'm tired and I'm angry.
touching me right now.
Right.
Like,
So, luckily by the time he was born, I was phasing out of that position and got into something else that was a lot calmer, a lot more chiller. And, you know, I was able to function better. Was I making less money? Yes, but money's not everything when it comes to your state of mind.
Right.
You know, because a lot of us, you know, and I'll just say it like this, a lot of us, especially in the black community, we're steadily trying to chase that check.
Yeah.
Whether or not we're happy or not, we're steadily trying to run and chase for that check.
Yeah,
no
it's
matter
never
where it's at.
enough.
Yeah, that's
No, it's
something you
never
have
enough.
to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally
Yeah,
something
yeah.
we have to do.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like in our
I feel
DNA,
like
damn it.
overall, as a collective population, we're not left with, and we don't inherit, and we don't.
Yeah.
There's not as much put into us before we even get to be adults as there are on,
Yeah.
you know, in other.
Right.
You know, I'm not, like, for example, not strictly singling out, but like trust funds and stuff like that. Like kids that like have parents that grow up and like teach them about taxes and credit and
Yeah.
things like that, and stuff they don't have to go to school for. Their
right.
parents
Oh.
teach them that. You know what I'm saying? And so, it's not the same everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So, for us, when second we turn 18, a lot of us is like, get the hell out. Which I mean,
Yep.
thankfully, not every set of parents is like that. But
Right.
you know, we're trained to go. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a hustle complete. Like for us, I don't know if that's the same for y'all. I know I've been taught that like you need to have prime situation 5 means of income. You know what I'm saying? You always
That
have.
wasn't-
You know what I'm
wasn't
saying?
taught to me.
That wasn't taught with me. Oh.
And so, and that's just an example of saying like how hard we have to work to like exist. You know what I'm saying? Like, because at the end of the day, there's some people that are holding down 2-3 jobs and still can't
Still
pay
can't.
bills. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, so
That's facts.
You know, because I mean, I've definitely been through it. I remember one time I was working at my job, I was doing Lyft, I was doing other stuff on the side just to, you know, make ends meet or whatever. And, you know, and I don't regret anything I did because, you know, at the time, you know, there was just some things going on, you know, as far as my household. And my wife just had to stop working for a little bit. So I was like, bump it, okay, I just need to, you know, upgrade myself and do what I need
Right.
to do on my end, make sure we straight or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
I never complained about it, I never fussed about it. I did what I had to do. We was all right. We still had a roof over our head, running water, lights, heat, you know, so it just was what it was. You know, but at the end of the day, you know, like you said, you know, it was told you need to at least have 5 sources of income. Mine was just get a job and keep it.
right.
Yeah.
That's how I was taught, just get
Yeah.
a job and keep
Right.
it. You know,
Yeah.
like, you know, growing up, at least around, you know, my family was just like, hey, as long as you got a good job, you stay at that job and that's it. You stay there, you grow or whatever, and that's it. And I wasn't satisfied with that.
Yeah.
You know?
Now, especially nowadays, you know, especially the younger folks, they'll leave the job quick.
Yeah.
Especially
Oh,
if it's,
yeah.
you know.
Hell, they hear a job is too hard and be like, nah, that's all right. That's facts though. Like there's like the garbage man, you know,
Yeah.
the I don't know how to trash collection and waste management.
Waste management,
And
there you go.
that industry, like I stopped to talk to this dude because I saw that he had got out of the truck and then put the trash can on the back of the truck, you know, flipped it and everything. And I was like, damn, you slinging by yourself today? Slinging is the term that, you know, for the person doing it. And he was like, yeah, man, like, these kids, like, we can't keep nobody, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, I did it for a few months myself. That's not for the, you know, for the song, like, at all. And he's like, yeah, man, they'll come in, they'll do one day, and then they just never show up again. Or sometimes they'll come in and even take the interview and all that and never come back. And it's just like, and I mean, I get it. And but this generation is... Man, so many branches that they shy away from effort. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
but you know what? I don't necessarily. I mean, I can take the bad with the good. Yeah, it is. On one hand, it is bad that you know, with this generation, you know, that can, and this kind of veering off topic, but you know, with them not being able to keep a job because you know they don't know stamina and you know how to essentially keep a job,
right.
or how it is to work for something. Yeah, longevity. How you know how it is to work for something. You know, because everything's not going to be handed to you.
So far, it
So
has
far.
been. Like,
But so far it has
these
been.
generations coming up, so far everything
Yes.
is basically put in their hands.
And which is where I'll go into, you know, the good part of it, because you know a lot of information is exposed now. You know, with the internet, you can essentially get paid off the internet now. You know, you know, there's something where you don't need a job now. In that instance, you know, with the good, that would more than likely eliminate a lot of depression from a normal person that has a job. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It will eliminate a lot of depression of having a supervisor or a boss or anything like that. That's, you know, harping down, especially if you don't know how to handle that type of stress, you know, in everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, like I said, I can take it with the good, with the bad. You know, I don't necessarily blame, you know, people leaving jobs the minute that they detect bullshit. Because sometimes you just got to do that. You know, a lot of our, you know, parts of our generation and before us, you know, they know it's bullshit, but they still stay anyways.
Right. Yeah,
you know.
Really?
Yeah.
Facts.
So I mean, I don't necessarily blame, you know, parts of our generation and the generation after us from leaving a you know, what they call a toxic environment. You know, like I don't blame them.
That term's getting overused.
Yeah, I know.
But
It is.
That's
but,
another.
hey.
You know what? That's an episode right there. Toxic.
I mean, you know, it's all about. At the end of the day, it's all about evolution because at the end of the day, you know, this is what we talk about. The generation before us, they stayed at the job. They worked there no matter how much bullshit they got hit with.
Yeah.
We more so the same. If we can have longevity, we want longevity, but we're not gonna take shit. But the next generation after us, oh, you trying to give me shit? Nah, I'm not gonna be in nothing that's gonna weigh me down.
Yep.
So you know, in a sense, they're more. I'm gonna give it to y'all. I'll say, in a sense, you're maybe more courageous, and I say that because you can get into that job.
Entitlement to me.
It does in a sense, but at the same time, it's like most jobs that we try to stay in, we're not happy in them.
Yeah.
So it's almost like they couldn't that middleman. And I was like, well, if I'm not happy with this, why am I gonna stay?
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why I draw that line there.
I mean, but that's a fine line because right there on the other side is like you gonna have to work hard regardless. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's stuff is gonna
So then
suck.
they don't though.
Yeah,
Because with the generation now, with internet and all that, they feel like they don't have to.
I mean, I guess, but at certain points, you're gonna come up against abrasiveness. You're gonna come up against something that you have, like, there's no way around it. You got to go through it. You know what I'm saying? And like, and that is getting in what I guess can tie back into the title of the show or title of the episode is Dancing with the Devil. This generation is there. Soon as any sort of something pops up in any situation, work, relationship, friendship, people, public, whatever, they quick to cut that off. But like, as you say something about turning up somewhere, you say something about let's go do this, you say something like they out there, like there's
I see where you're going with this. Go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's middle schoolers out here that'll sit here and like recall, like, you know, certain occasions there are multiple prescription drugs. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about going crazy with the shit. It's like stuff I wasn't even thinking about until at least deep high school.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like I feel like, for lack of a better sense, this generation, I'll put the target on my back, is dancing with the devil to me.
Okay.
Like,
and to piggyback off of you, I agree with that. But yeah, to piggyback off of you, you know, a lot of that stuff, you know, like we say, just, you know, whether it's leaving a job or leaving relationships or leaving friendships, which is relationships and friendships are the main factors that people quit. You know, because people are quick to cut off people nowadays, right? It gets to a point. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly. But it's like it gets to a point.
Target on my back, talking about the whole generation was dancing with the devil.
Oh,
there you go.
got it.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh,
I got
it.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, like I was saying, to piggyback off of what Tony was saying, you know, just with the generation now, whether it's, you know, because people, you know, this generation now, they're quick to cancel everything or to disconnect themselves with something, whether it be a job, a relationship, or even friendships. But then, you know, as we go back to where it says, you know, out of mind is the devil's playground, they'll find these different vices to kind of cope with the fact that they're lonely, where they don't have, you know, anybody to talk to because they've canceled,
They've pushed
everybody out just because they don't align with their chakras. You know, like that. I mean, but that's what
we can get super deep on something.
Hey, I'm just saying.
We're not gonna go that direction.
Basically, referring to them as hippies.
No.
That's what it sounds like. I said chakras.
It goes deeper than hippies.
That's not what I said.
No.
Way deeper.
Yeah, because I do, you know, me personally, I do believe that, you know, that there are certain, you know, that coexist.
They do a lot.
They do. Yes. But I'm just saying, you know, just to be facetious, you know,
right.
Just one bit of resistance that stands in front of them, they're ready to get it out of there, you know.
In the very least, it's a flag in their mind. It's like,
okay,
all right, this is
right. Some cases it's justified, other cases you just kind of doing too much.
Right. I guess it depends on how quick the turnover is, because I've had people that's meant the world to me that I've been ready to let go of with no issue.
They've been ready to go. Ready to let go.
Yeah, that I've been ready to let go.
Ready to let go, but you don't sit there and be like, all right, get out.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
yes.
Gotcha.
I've done it.
Okay.
But I think that just goes back with the, you know, the whole, you know, just the endurance, you know, even with holding a job, you know, because everybody's ready to leave their job. But for whatever reason, you know, we wait it out, you know, until there's that one straw that breaks the camel's back, you know, essentially. You know, so, I mean, so, you know, in your case, you know, with family members, because you don't want to cut off your family members. They're your family. You know, family's all we got, right? And that's what we've been told, right? Man, come on, man. But that's what we've been made to believe.
Right.
You know, we all we got. Right. You know, family is family over everything, right? Right. You do have individuals that prove otherwise, and you from afar you peep that, and now you're you know. Now you just got to determine, okay, how long am I going to have this person in my life before I need to cut them off? So, yeah, I got that too. I just think, you know, with like I said, with just the whole cutting off people, you know, or cutting off things, cutting off any bit of resistance, you know, it just kind of, it shows me that
it builds a weaker character.
Yeah,
that's what I'm going to go ahead and throw that out.
Okay,
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, you're right, though. But you're right, because, I mean, there's a lot of things where, you know, your character gets tested and it shows what you really are, what you can withstand, you know, and handle. This generation doesn't show me that they have a lot of character. You know,
Oh my God! So this was not meant to bash generation to you.
It's
I'm
not,
gonna put that out
but
there, 'cause
It's not.
It's starting to go there.
we not bashing it. They doing it to
There are
themselves.
definitely. Okay,
I mean, but then
that
you're talking
too.
about me then.
But there are definitely a solid, portion of individuals that stand out from the stereotypes that we're speaking
Yes.
of. But just like anything, there are extremists and there are abusers in a system or a population or a society or whatever that latch onto that and then toxify it, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's just like, okay, I want this to be known. I have no problems with anybody practicing expressing themselves how they feel. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, do that.
Yeah.
But like, I was having a conversation with a friend earlier today. Like, in that, understand that there are whole groups of people and societies of people who have been trying to be accepted for who they are for millennia and still don't have that.
Yeah.
So when you come now these days and demand that and be like, oh no, it can't be any other way, chaos until we get peace, blah 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 blah, like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all gotta get in line, like, like, you know what I'm saying? And so, but that's another argument in itself. But what I'm trying to get to is, with those abusers, those extremists in the group and everything that have taken the recent culture and shift in society and abused it, you know what I'm saying? Like, alright, so it's supposed to be socially acceptable for you to be promiscuous. Like, yeah, people like to fuck. Cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, alright, cool. Get here. That's fine. But, I get that. Cool. But then there's those people that are like, hey, people like to fuck, and they got, like, you talking about body count is just, they don't remember. You know what I'm saying?
It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Right, you know what I'm saying? So, like, when I say that I feel like, I'm not going to call it the generation, but, a certain population of people are dancing with the devil, that's where I'm coming from with it.
Gotcha.
Like, they're abusing these vices and this acceptance and this new movement to, like, be okay with everything and moving through it to appease themselves. You know what I'm saying? They're abusing this vice, that sex, that gambling, that drug, that whatever, to get their own existence forward, not necessarily to be getting a whole utopic society or something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about it.
Gotcha. But yeah, but I think that's just another sign for help. That's just another sign for help, saying that I'm lonely. Now it doesn't justify. I'm not condoning it or anything like that. But that's just another form of cry for help. Because people honestly feel as though they cannot confide into anybody, especially these days.
Cause you gotta watch out for that though.
I
say that because people treat it as a trend. Depression is not a trend.
It's not. No, it's not no
depression, anxiety, none of that.
No, right. It is not no hot.
It's been there forever.
Yeah.
I think our generations have, processed it and observed it and understood that it's something that needs to be, watched and dealt with.
Yeah.
Again, there are abusers and people that kind of like milk it or sell a certain expression of themselves to get the attention that they seek or whatever. But
I think we've had the best of both worlds when it comes to something like that. Like we've learned how to deal with our problems, but we also learned how to voice our problems. Especially if it was warranted. Nowadays anything could be a problem. Where it doesn't necessarily warrant a cry for help or anything like that. It's just my thing with with depression and things like that. I am all for if you definitely need to talk to somebody that or people that you trust or anything, or get like an unbiased opinion about something that you're going through, and you need to talk to somebody. On the other hand though, once you get back home, the only person that you see in that mirror is you. There's still a lot of things that now that you've gotten information from everything else, you need to go back home and look in the mirror and figure out what do you need to do to apply the information that you've received from outside sources, because you know the biggest battle with anybody is in your head.
Right.
You know, you go to sleep with it, you wake up with it. You know, you carry out your day with it. It's always going to be there. There's this guy named David Goggins.
I know exactly.
You know what I'm talking about? Okay, bet. Yeah, David Goggins. I love his book, Can't Hurt Me. You know, because he has a thing where he says that, you know, the true battle is within your mind. You know, because every day, you live with it.
Right.
You know, you live with it. You know, you got to go through everyday life with it.
Right.
Because there's a lot of, I mean, you know, every day that, you know, there's new things or whatever that you're facing. There's always that mind that's saying, nah, man, you can't do that. Why would you do that?
Right.
You know, you
think about
are you
it,
sure?
look,
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Like, are you sure you want to do this? Or, you know, just for that example.
Pertaining to what though?
Just anything in general.
Right.
Just anything in life.
Like.
I asked because of the topic, because, you know, that can, I guess I'm trying to get clarification.
Well, I mean, it could be, you know, a new
Job
I guess,
position.
like a new job position that you want, but then your mind's giving you doubts. Or even the fact that you're trying to overcome your vices, pornography, drugs, or anything like that.
Right.
And your mind's saying, but this makes you feel good.
Right.
Oh,
so not strong enough.
Right.
More so, okay.
It's just, you
Makes
know,
more sense now. I got you.
yeah, you know, it's just, you know, devil's kind of, you know, I guess the devil in your mind is just in your ear convincing you the opposite of what you want to do or not do.
And
You
the
know.
longer you stay stagnant and appeasing that voice, the deeper in trouble you get, and the more you are actually dancing with the devil. Like you're succumbing to those, you know, I guess temptations. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's, boy, never mind. I'm just.
But that's why they tell you your mind is the first thing to go, because your mind is
It's the one
driver.
dealing with all
Yeah,
this.
it's your driver. You know, of course, you got your heart. You need your heart to live, but your mind.
But your mind,
Once that mind gets polluted,
that's your
it just kinda
GPS, man.
puts all that in perspective for you.
I think also, and this is just my personal opinion, I think also with the depression and things like that, a lot of us aren't honest with ourselves. You know, like, for example, and this isn't shaming in any way, obese people, you know, things like that. A lot of obese people get. I mean, I ain't glad.
I'm the biggest one in this motherfucker.
But you know, just and you know, it's a real thing. I understand this is a sensitive example, but it has to be talked about. You know, a lot of people that's living with obesity, you know, they're usually the main suspects of depression, because they have to go in front of the mirror and look at themselves, you know.
Shit, they can't.
And they can't say, and they can't. But the one thing I really liked about David Goggins, and I will always refer back to him. He has this thing where it's called, you know, the accountability mirror. He would intentionally put sticky notes on this mirror, say, "You're fat," or "You're stupid," or, you know, just something else. You know, just something like you know, this is where you are. The thing with that is we're not honest with ourselves with where we are right now. You know, our situations right now, because, you know, our mind will play tricks against us. Will say, it's okay. It's okay that you're big. It's okay that you're stupid. You know, it's okay. Who you gotta prove it for? You know, whatever.
Comfort.
Yeah, it's your comfort. Yes, you know, it's your comfort. You know, so I think really what a lot of our depression comes from, you know, it's just that we're not honest with each other, with ourselves, within ourselves, with our given situation. You know, with my dog, you know, I wasn't ready to let go of the fact, or to accept the fact that he's no longer there.
Right.
You know, I still carry his ID card with me. You know what I'm saying? But
My dog's my truck.
yeah, you see, you know, so you know, now eventually I am gonna have to let the card go. I am working on that too, but you know, I still carry his ID, you know, in my wallet. You know,
there's nothing wrong with that. It's a keepsake.
It's your memory of him.
Right.
Fine,
That's
but
how you honor his memory.
I'm not gonna carry my dog in a urn, but you know.
yeah, you know,
That's something you remember him by.
that's fine. But you know, I remember him more than just a still picture
Well,
of
yeah.
a plastic card.
Of
You know what I'm
course.
saying? Like, I could always go back into my memory bank and think of all the good times that we've had and things like that. But you know, I gotta be, you know, open with myself and say, listen, he's not coming back. You know, like he's moved on. You know,
Right.
he's transitioned. You got to do the same. He will want that for you. You know what I'm saying? To a higher plane. He's no longer an inhabitant of Earth.
Right.
but
So,
but you know, I have to face the, you know, in every day. You know, I gotta face that.
Right.
You know that, and that's a hard battle. You know, but a lot of us, where we fall short is, you know, just being accountable. You know, accountable and honest with ourselves, within ourselves. Like, hey, you know, if I was obese, you know, I'm looking in the mirror. I clearly don't like what I see in the mirror. You know, I gotta say, and dude, you big. You're big. You're you know, you're borderline, you know, diabetic, or you know, you could have a stroke right now.
I feel
And it's
attacked.
because I'm not.
but this is my thing. What you jumping in this whole obesity thing or whatnot?
No, I'm just using that
No,
example.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, all right.
You trying to finish what I'm trying to say. I get what you're saying. I understand that or whatnot. But let's just say, for instance, we have somebody that might be bigger than what they need to be or whatever, but what if they're not going through these health issues and things of that nature? What if they're fine? Then what?
I don't know. I don't know too many stories where it's like
I think
like
he
that.
was just saying.
But no,
For
I mean, I get what you're
individuals
saying, but
that
you know,
don't.
like, you know, if I'm going to a mirror and I got the sticky note on there saying you're fat, I'm probably gonna fucking kill myself. Like, it wouldn't give me no positive
Different
reinforcement.
strokes for different.
No, I mean, I
Yeah.
get that. But I mean, just like for me, like, I got a picture here in my man cave
Right.
that scares the shit out of me.
Okay.
Like, it's a whole picture of my mother and my
Yeah.
son that will never
Yeah.
physically meet on this earth. But I have a picture of them fused together. That shit scares the hell out of me.
Gotcha.
And the one thing about my depression that really messes me up, because here, I don't feel like I need to be here.
Okay.
And two, I'm afraid of death.
Okay.
So with those two colliding, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know.
Existential
I don't know if I'm gonna ever
crisis.
see her again.
Right.
And my son will never meet her here.
Understood.
And that's a big stem of my depression. So if I go to the mirror and be like, she's not coming back. God damn it, man. Like, you know, I don't get that.
I mean, yes, I get it. That is
Different
a,
strokes
different
for different
strokes.
folks.
Man,
Man.
it's definitely
Yeah. And that is a hard truth to I got it. Yeah.
Right.
Facts. But like you said, different strokes for different folks. But you know, that is a hard truth. That is a hard truth that, you know, you have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. But I guess the trick is, you know, just being honest with that truth. You don't let it succumb, you know, you don't let it overwhelm you. You don't let it overtake you, you know. And I think that's what, because if you're going to think that, because I imagine, you know, when you think of that, everything just stops, right? Like I said, out of mind is the devil's playground. You know, who knows what you're going to do next. Yeah, right? You know, who knows what vices that you're looking towards to cope with that. But, you know, like I said, just with the accountability mirror thing, you know, it's just one of those things where you cannot sugarcoat the reality. You know, my dog is not coming back. Your mom is not coming back, or whatever. I mean, I got. I'm just saying, but it's just one of those. But I mean, but it has to be talked about.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying.
It has to be talked about. You know, it's just one of those things. You know, because you know, it's just a hard truth. Nobody wants to face a hard truth.
Right.
Nobody. I don't. But drugs and, you know, things, whatever it is, that's your coping mechanism. You know, that's it may pause it momentarily, but
It's still there.
it's gonna come back to you
Right.
tenfold.
Right.
You know, it's just one of those things where we can't let that, you know, just hold us down. You know, hold us down for us being able to evolve into our better versions of ourselves and things like that. Because that, just those thoughts alone can hinder you from possibly getting a better job position or
Going somewhere.
going somewhere, or being a better family member, or being a better spouse, you know, being a better father, you know, mother, you know, things like that. Just, you know, that those type of things really hinder us for being, you know, for being our best versions of ourselves.
Right.
I think that's where we fall short at. You know, it just starts with, you know, like what Michael Jackson says, that man in the mirror. You know, because you got to see him every day when you brush your teeth, wash your face, you know, things like, you got to see him every day.
Turn the light.
You got turn the light off. Yep, he's still there. It's dark, but it's still there. You gotta go to sleep with your, you know, you wake up with your mind. You wake up with the, you know, the internal warfare that you have with yourself. You know, your lower ego self. It's just one of those things where you just gotta, you know, you have to have confidence enough to be able to say, you know what, it's okay that I'm having these thoughts, but
Right.
I know that's not what I am. That's just my traumas that hasn't fully healed. You know, the
Right.
traumas that still rears its head. You know, every now and then.
Right.
But you know, I still have to, you know, I have to find ways to get that under control. You know, so it is good to have somebody to talk to, or see a therapist, or, you know, have mental health is mandatory. It's not even up for debate. You need mental health for anything. You know,
Normalize therapy.
normalize therapy.
Normalize
Yeah,
therapy.
especially if you can get
Normalize it.
one. Yeah, if your job provides one, or if you can afford one, or just, it don't even have to really be professional. Just somebody that you
Someone,
trust,
yeah.
that you can talk to.
Or hell,
You know.
shit, like you said, a random stranger that doesn't know you, like somebody
Yeah.
with a complete bias,
Unbiased, yeah.
It seems like they would talk. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Now we ain't just saying just run up a
Right.
random.
Yeah, don't do that.
Talk to
but-
me. Listen to my
Right.
problems. We're not saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you
If
got
it
somebody that's
seems like
willing to listen,
yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
somebody that might not know you, somebody that's willing
Yes.
to listen and not judge you because they don't know you enough to judge you.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't need to cancel everything or cut off people all the time. You don't. Not all the time. I said not all the time.
There are occasions that it's necessary. I'm not going to take that away.
Yes, but you don't have to do it all the time.
All right. So, for the ones that are burdened by issues that they seek unhealthy, you know, coping habits, you know, to avoid and everything. For those people that like have suicidal thoughts, or, you know, just what's the point of it all? So I'm gonna go do whatever I'm gonna do. Realize that I've had to tell this to a few people that, like, all right, so no one, well, I'm sure there have been people, but not many people have one suicidal thought and then that's it. But
Yeah.
they do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely, yeah.
like, all right, so this is how I explain it, or how I feel about it. All right, so the first time you had a suicidal thought, did you go through with it? No. All right, cool. The second time, no. So you accrued a habit, basically, of thinking about, you know, wanting to end it, or, you know, just not wanting to live or whatever. Yes. All right, cool. So every single day that you had that thought and you didn't, you proved that you were stronger than whatever issue was burdening you.
Facts.
And when people are saying that, you know, okay, well, it never goes away, it doesn't stop, blah, 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 like, all right, cool. There are people who get burdened or cursed with, you know, having to deal with certain problems, you know what I'm saying? That's life. No one, unfortunately, life, for some people, you know, it's a great bubble of happiness and everything's great for them. They, you know, they're born with a sense of just getting where they need to go, getting what they need to get and everything. But, you know, then there are others who don't have it that fortunate. But we all get the same, more or less, system to process and deal with these issues.
Yeah.
So every single day that you had that thought that you didn't, you have to take that as a victory over whatever is burdening you. And when you have people that are like I said, you know, it never goes away, it never shuts off or anything like that, then that means that because of the fact that you are still here, you are still stronger than that issue. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is literally up to you to sit there and listen to whatever, you know, is telling you, oh, you need to go do this, you need to off yourself, you need to end it, blah, 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 blah. It's up to you to sit there and listen to that. Mm-hmm. It's up to you, it's in your very same control to get up and go do something in the opposite direction of that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand, because like I said, when I say I've been in some low points in my life, I've been in some low points in my life. And I'm glad to say that, like, yeah, there were points where I sat there and I listened and I entertained and I appeased and I, like, you know, I just did whatever, you know, I thought was going to make me feel better, which, hell, sometimes nothing makes you feel better. Yeah. But, like, you have to realize that nothing up to this point has beaten you yet. Mm-hmm. So what is this issue? Who is this person to come across me and be my determining factor if this is how I'm going to end? You know what I'm saying? Like, I made it this far, and I done came through a whole hell of a lot up to this point, and it's not just one thing, it's the line of things that may have possibly happened to you. Mm-hmm. You're still here, so you're still stronger than those things that happened to you. That's right. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, for, you know, the crowd that's dancing with the devil and entertaining these vices and doing things to appease themselves, like, there's so much opportunity on the other side of that. You know what I'm saying? And what I do hate is that the coping mechanisms, the habits, the vices and all that, you know, they're instant gratification. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing that these most recent generations are super heavy with. You know what I'm saying? Like, that instant has got to happen right now. That vibe's got to be right now. If it's not, then dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything. But on the other side of that, the hard work that there's a phrase of it, embrace the suck. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, the work that it takes for you to get through that problem, instead of trying to cope with it, instead of trying to, you know, exist with it, instead of, you know, entertaining it and appeasing it, the work that it takes to beat that, on the other side of it, the strength that you wake up with, the self-sureness that you have, that you conquered, that you came through that valley that you were in, you know what I'm saying? It's so much better than, like, it's like you almost look down at the point of where you were, like, damn, bro, like, you know, I was really down there. Yep. And then now here you are today, like, you know what? Hell no, ain't none of that shit beat me. What's up? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that's just my word of, like, you know, of strength and advice. Like, try to think positive. I understand it gets really hard. It does get really hard. Yeah. But just like, you know, you're not the first. A lot of people tend to think, they're like, you know, why is all this happening to me? Why is all this, you know, going wrong, this, that, and the third? You're not the first person that usually that has happened to. You know what I'm saying? And you're not going to be the last. So it's just like, I'm not trying to say, you know, you're not different or you're not special or anything, like, because everybody's issues register a different way. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. But, like, at the same time, there are people who went through similar things that you did that made it. Mm-hmm. So if someone can do it, and that's the way I've always carried myself, if I can see one person get through something, then to me it's possible. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. Like, I've got at least the chance of success through it. Yeah.
And a lot of those people don't talk about it.
Well, that's true. Yeah, but sure. I mean, it took me forever to get to the point to where I can, you know, openly talk about things. But
I mean, but when I say that, enough to not to know, like, other people out here dealing with it that came through it. So what I'm saying, some people might not know that. Right. Yeah. So it's like, so for what they see, they're dealing with it on their own. Right. So until people speak up about, like we're doing tonight, you know, no one else will know, like, hey, you're not the only one that's thinking about this. Right. You're not the only one that, you know, thought about doing this to yourself or whatever. A lot of us have thought about. A lot of us have had it in their hands to do it and then do it. You know. Yeah. So it's definitely there. And you know, I hate to say it, it's a temptation. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what it is. You know, that's why it's called dancing with the devil. It's a temptation. You flirt around, you dance around with the fact of offing yourself or not wanting to deal with it no more.
Because it'll be easy.
Yeah, because
you
in
ain't got
your
to
mind
do it
it'll be easier. You feel like once that's over, hey, I won't have to deal with it no more. That's it. But that just goes back to my whole thing about sometimes I feel like I don't know what's on the other side. I think that's more my fear. Like, okay, what if you think you're getting out of it, and next you know you back in it and you replaying the same stuff?
I mean, to me, that's almost the spice of life. To not be all right now. Like it's when you kind of sort of off topic. I guess religion. Dancing with the devil with me. Kind of fit that in. But like Christians are gonna tell you, they know what's on the other side. They're gonna see the pearly gates. If they're a devout, practicing Christian and everything and whatever. And then for the others, that's hell or whatnot. But like for the people who find it harder, I guess, to wrap their minds around, we'll just say that Christianity or religion in general that don't have a set in stone what's going to happen once they die. To me, that, like I said, that's sort of the spice to it. You know what I'm saying? To not be positive or not be certain on what you're going to experience after it is kind of like, I'm not saying tantalizing, like it's not. I'm not saying it's taunting me off in the distance or something, but it's just like, what's behind the curtain? You know what I'm saying? Like I've had a couple experiences where. I've had a couple experiences where I've damn near seen what's on the other side of the curtain. Like I had a bad motorcycle accident. I bounced my head off a utility box. Woo! Yeah, and blacked out for I'm not sure how long. And, thought I was dead. Like, I had been unconscious before that point, and it didn't feel like that. You know what I'm saying? It definitely, I felt like the lights were out. You know what I'm saying? And then literally the following evening, I had a dream of riding into hell. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Man.
A very vivid, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so to say that you're not positive about what's on the other side to me is like, that's kind of like the curiosity of life itself. Like, to figure out, like, you're supposed to live this life the best you can. Like, I grew up Christian, and so I do still hold a lot of the values and a lot of the virtues that it instilled in me. So I live this life the best I can to see, to get to that finish line and see what's on the other side. Like, now, because I've danced with the devil and had my, my down points, my low points and everything, I've kind of gotten a wider, I guess, perspective on it. But in the interim, just because I'm tantalized on what's on the other side, I'm not pushed to speed it up. You know what I'm saying? Gotcha. But like in those low points and everything, like I said, I was on a motorcycle, and when I say I was hell on wheels, I alpha-rated Connors in 13 minutes, and that ain't no bullshit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Woo. So when you're dancing with the devil, I think a lot of the times those people, although they're not consciously aware of it, I think they're not trying to commit suicide, but they're sort of trying to inch closer to that point. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like the ones that like legitimately know that the dose or whatever that they're shooting up is fucked up, but they're gonna go ahead and push that limit and see where they're gonna go anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of where I'm coming from with it. I feel like that's, to me, not knowing the uncertainty, not necessarily of, if you're a Christian or an atheist or anything. It's just the uncertainty to me it's intriguing. You know what I'm saying?
I can feel it. I would think in that regard. Listen, my personal stance on heaven and hell itself, is all in here. But I've always gone off the notion that we're energetic beings, and according to science, energy can't be created nor destroyed, right?
Mainly just changes form.
Changes form. I'm not naive to think that reincarnation could be a thing.
Who's to say it's not?
Right.
Well, I was just about to say, you about to say. I ain't saying it's not either.
I'm not saying it's not either, but but I won't be. I am open-minded to think that we go through life, you know, in different phases and different cycles. You know, I do believe that in a such thing as past lives and things like that.
Right.
Even when I have dreams, you know, if I could remember, you know, just remember certain dreams where I'm doing something, you know, one dream I had, I was a farmer of some sort. I can't remember exactly what I was farming, but I had a whole farm, and, you know, you know, and everything. And I was living good, right? And then the next week or something, you know how you're just doing something, you just daydream, or you have like a sense of deja vu, or whatever. It brought me back to that dream,
Right.
you know. So I you know, I would think that I guess as far as the afterlife goes, I part of me believe that there is some sort of an afterlife, not necessarily a traditional heaven or hell type of thing. Yeah, but
it's just a different plane or a different level of existence that goes on.
Exactly. Because even then, I would argue that, and this is way off topic, but I would
not necessarily. I mean,
no?
if we're talking about dancing with the devil, you might as well incorporate the whole.
Because I would even go far as to say, you know, how some people say, you know, well, mostly everybody will say that hell is the worst place you ever want to be in.
Mm-hmm.
I would say purgatory tops that. Because, I mean, you're in purgatory, you're in neither heaven nor hell. You're just in this big white space of nothing.
All right, and that's literally a segue into what I was about to say as far as, like, I don't mean to denounce or disrespect religion at all, clearly.
Yeah.
But, like, when you're talking about, like you just said, purgatory, where you're stuck in a status of between, you know, you're not here, you're not going there. Because of that, you have, you know, ghosts and spirits and all that stuff that are supposedly, you know, around us that we, you know, that we just can't see and everything.
Gotcha.
And so when people try to denounce, like I, you know, just said I wasn't going to denounce religion and stuff like that, what do you equate to things like that? So, and then a lot of people are going to say that the people that are talking about, oh, I've seen, you know, spirits, I've seen demons, I've seen ghosts, or had an experience, blah blah blah. Oh, they're just crazy, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
gotcha.
And which, I mean, that's a very common, that's a thing, you know what I'm saying? And I get, it's only something, it's nothing that it can only be accurately explained by shared experience. But like, you have to experience it yourself before you can actually process it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now back to saying, you know, people try to denounce religion and everything. Like I said, when I say I try to live my life the best I can, so that way, you know, whatever is on the other side is more or less hopefully pleasant, you know. And but, you know, as far as the people that, you know, live their life, you know, believing in spirits, believing in demons and all that stuff, but, you know, they don't follow God, they, you know, go towards the other end of the spectrum or whatnot. And it's just like, for me, if I'm going to say one doesn't exist, or let's say, you know, for example, someone saying God doesn't exist, but you're more or less in the satanic crowd, or the, you know, crowd that, you know, praises other spirits or other, you know, deities or whatever, how is it that you can accept this part? So how did the world come to existence in this story? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's different about this story that makes you accept this as the truth, you know, over versus, you know, this side? All right, now and then going deeper into that, to me, my afterlife, you know, your ideal afterlife is supposed to be, you know, a utopic setting, like, you know, it's a, you know, infinitely happy, you know, just positive experience.
Yeah.
To me, in the uncertainty, which is, you know, for lack of a better term of it, that's basically what most people are, uncertain about what's going to happen. To me, I feel like in uncertainty, I would rather be leaning towards the side that's not going to be death and getting torn apart for the rest of eternity and all that stuff. And then, of course, you got the people that are practicing and dancing with the devil that are like, oh, okay, well, you know, I'm on his side, so therefore it can't be the same for me. Now, this is what's funny to me. This Satan is the one that's, bringing about this age of destruction and darkness, and, the ruler of the place that tears people to shreds for for eternity. You know what I'm saying? That's the dude you want to have on your side. And you don't think that you're gonna get down there and it's not gonna be exactly like what he said, like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what you want. that's what's desired by you. Yeah, cool. You do you over there. Like I said, I don't. Same as it's the same as me coming across a transsexual. As the same as me coming across any other thing. I'm not judging no type of whatever you got going on over there. That's just not what I'm about. You feel me? Like, we could be cool.
Yeah.
But the perspectives and the way you see things are not going to be the same. You know what I'm saying?
I got you. Yeah.
That's how I feel.
I got you. Yes, sir.
You got something on your chest too? You want to talk about transsexuals too?
It wasn't. Okay,
that was
all right. Disclaimer: that was not meant to single out or to cast any sort of shade or anything. That was just an example that happened to be low-hanging fruit or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just
difference of experiences and perspectives. That's all.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? No
That's
direct
all.
shade or any sort of judgment cast on any crowd whatsoever. But
Yeah.
it just happened to be the subject that was right there to throw into the discussion.
Understood.
And it's low hanging fruit, I understand.
not for any particular reason.
See, man.
Not for any. It just happened to be there. Okay, like it was fresh. Like I guess it was fresh in the mind. Whatever.
Understood, sir. Yeah, you fine. I think this was a really good discussion, man.
Yeah.
We covered some pretty good basis on of how, I guess, in many ways these devils can take forms, just from for our way of thinking and how we perceive things. So this was definitely a pretty good topic. We definitely want to let the viewers know that you're not the only person that thinks about this type of things. And you don't have to be afraid to share those, share these experiences or these thoughts with people that you care about. You know what I'm saying?
I also wouldn't mind a part two.
You wouldn't mind a part two. Maybe.
Get a little deeper into, the things that I was starting to talk about.
Well,
Maybe they'll do that when I'm not here. So.
Come on, man.
Anyway.
But yeah, overall, this has been a pretty good discussion. I guess as far as my closing remarks, just remember, idle mind is a devil's playground, so definitely make sure that you have things in place where you can replace those negative thoughts with positive thoughts. And in the famous words of Young Jeezy, minus the bullshit, life's great. Remember that.
Okay. Fair enough. I wrote that.
Yeah. That's actually my favorite bar. They, like one of my favorite bars they said.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So minus the bullshit, life is great. It really is.
Well, for those, like I said, I mentioned earlier, that are burdened and have troubled minds, fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, the fact that you're still here today shows that you is a shining example of you being stronger than whatever is burdening you.
Facts.
And you need service.
Right.
Yeah. Any closing remarks from you?
So, this has definitely been a good topic. My main goal for this topic was just to bring awareness that, not everyone you see is happy. Mm-hmm. And I say that loosely just to say that, you can think someone's in a better spot than you think someone's living better than you. Doesn't mean they're happy with their life or the way it's going. That's why I just employ people to speak up. If you're going through something, if you got something that's going on in your head, speak out, because the more you suppress it, the more you hold it, the deeper you get something into your own self, and then next thing you know, you can't get out. Right. Mm-hmm. So, that's just definitely something I employ everyone to practice. And like I told y'all in the beginning, this is a suicide prevention much as well. So, you know, back to what Ann was saying, you're stronger than your circumstances or whatnot. So don't allow everything or just life itself to weigh you down, because once you free yourself of these burdens that life is weighing you down with, you're able to live your life and move forward and be happier in that. And, you know, as far as being happier with yourself and understanding who you are and what, you know, what you bring to the table. You know, because I know that's something I really struggle with as far as trying to figure out what it is that I bring to the table. But every day I'm learning more and more about myself. I'm pouring more and more into others and whatnot. So I have a lot of people that are watching me, and, you know, my whole thing is, you know, I want to be that light, but I got to make sure my light is fine within myself.
Right.
I can't be a light and I'm dim. I can't show you the way if I don't have a light within myself.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, just to end this off, you know, this definitely been a good episode of The Corner. This is episode 25.
25.
And we got 5 more to go that are in the works. And y'all just keep an eye out for it, man. This has been another episode of The Corner. This is Dancing with the Devil. You know, and definitely, you know, use that term as the best you can. When we say dancing with the devil, is whatever you want to perceive it as.
Right.
You know, if you're too close to the edge, you dancing with the devil. If you're too close, you know, to things that are, you know, for you, you're dancing with the devil. So, you know, just keep that in mind. But like I said again, it's been another great episode of The Corner. We thank y'all for coming out. We thank you for watching. We thank you for liking.
Yeah.
We thank you for subscribing.
Yeah.
And all that good stuff, man. But, you know, again, it's been another episode of Corner, episode 25, Dancing with the Devil.
Yeah.
And then all to my right, we got
Mac.
K1.
Anthony.
Another episode of The Corner. Y'all have a great night. Peace.
Cover your 6. Assalamu alaikum.
Woo! Cut. Print. We got here.
Beautiful people. Right. Beautiful guys. Dynamite.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. If she came to me booty butt nigga right now, I was still dead.
Oh yeah. Yes. There was never a point in time that wasn't true. Like,
I'm just saying.
I mean,
Ass
there
or
was
no
one
ass.
time she lost almost all her courage, but like,
I was saying ass or no ass. It's always an ass somewhere though.
But that's just like with, just say if it was eyes and nose, would you look at her the same if she didn't have no ass?
oh, there's only certain
Quite possible.
ones that get away with that.
Yeah, I would say quite possible. Quite possible.
There's a few names that come to mind. If their body wasn't what it was, and they just lost. Yeah, but we're not going to say that because we're on apparently filming.
But they ain't gonna hit bloopers.
Oh, no, I'm making all that shit. Oh,
That's
man.
Are you alright, sir?
Yeah, y'all ready?
Alright. Just wanna make sure, bro.
I'm
Dancing
good.
with the Devil. And when we say dancing with the devil, like, what perspective are we speaking of?
So, the whole Dance with the Devil thing for me was more so just, you know, just talking about suicide. Because, I mean, not only is it Women's Month, it's also Suicide Prevention Month as well. Talking about that, and then just talk about Black depression. Like, a lot of stuff that we can pour into this, we've already kind of put into a couple of previous episodes. So, you know, that was my main basis, just, you know, suicide prevention, Black depression, and I guess it's whatever comes up in that topic as far as dancing with the devil. You know, it's just like, what line have you crossed to where, quote unquote, been dancing with the devil? So, yeah, I think that's the basis of it.
Okay, yeah.
Good.
That can, yeah, that'll work.
All right. Good posture, right? Wait. Jack.
Yes, sir. Oh, your jacket.
About the jacket. Get that guy off.
Gotcha.
Shit, I was gonna bring my little brother on because you know he's a kid too. He's been depressed and he done had suicidal thoughts.
Gotcha.
So, you know, I was gonna pull on him, but he said he didn't think he was ready enough to talk about it.
Yeah, that's
I said,
fine.
"Hey, that's fair.
Yeah, that's fine. Brown fucking with that shirt, though. I
Christ
like
lazy
it.
leaders on
I
tomorrow.
like it, sir. I like it.
Pretty much so. All right, so we get into it, and I go from right to leaving and we'll go from there. My phone recording is on vibrate.
Mine's on vibrate too.